Hi, I'm Joanna Fantozzi with Nation's Restaurant News, and I'm here with Matt de Gruyter, founder of Next Level Burger. And we're going to be chatting a little bit about what Next Level Burger is doing in the plant-based industry. So could you give me your elevator pitch for your brand?
So we are America's first 100% plant-based burger joint chain. Our focus is on plant-based ingredients, organics, non-GMO, and living wages. We now have 9 restaurants in 6 states and 3 time zones, and our goal is to build 1,000 restaurants over the years to come.
So how do you appeal to both plant-based eaters and carnivores?
It's a great question, Joanna. So ultimately, at the beginning of Next Level Burger, we wanted to attract the 95%. And the way we've done that is by offering a full spectrum of burger options. Everything from that classic fast food burger to that steakhouse burger to that apex veggie burger, you can have it all at Next Level. And one of the things I'm most proud of is that that goal in the beginning has been realized. From coast to coast, we have people coming into our doors on a daily basis from all walks of life. Whether it's the contractor with paint on his or her jeans, or it is the mom coming from yoga, or it's the dad grabbing dinner on the way home. We're seeing somebody from every walk of life every day, and that is something else.
So what's the most exciting thing about being in the plant-based industry right now?
Fighting climate change. So ultimately, I believe that we are at the single most important point in human history. That the decisions that we make now, not 10 years from now, not 50 years from now, but now, they are going to dictate the future of our species and, frankly, the rest of the species that populate this planet. And I think that there are going to be those of us who help push the future forward in the right direction. And those of us that want to hang on to the status quo. And I want to make sure that we do our part. At Next Level, we believe the future is bright, but that it's up to all of us to make sure of it.
Now, you guys had some exciting news this week. You had a big investment. So can you tell me a little bit about what you're going to do with that investment?
So ultimately, we've been a mission-driven organization from the beginning with a dedicated value set of plant-based ingredients, organic, non-GMO, living wages, and none of that will we ever change. Ultimately, that is the foundation of NLB. But what the additional fuel of capital investment allows us to do is to grow our presence and to grow our impact. We have served millions of guests. We have stopped billions of gallons being unnecessarily used because of our plant-based ingredients, and we have stopped millions of pounds of carbon emissions from going in the atmosphere, and we're just getting started. So we believe that this capital infusion can continue to accelerate our impact in all the right ways.
Yeah, and so the plant-based category is obviously huge right now. It's one of the hottest categories in the restaurant industry right now. So how do you guys stand out from the increasing amounts of competition?
Yeah, it's a great question. Ultimately, when my son's running suicide sprints at basketball practice, and this happened just a few years ago, and he's a fast kid, and he would look to his left and his right to see how he's doing compared to his teammates. And I said, son, look straight ahead and run your own race. And he always ran faster and ended up being one of the fastest kids on the team. And so ultimately, I see our competition as wearing different jerseys, but on the same side of the field, pushing the future in the right direction, the plant-based competition. Ultimately, how do we separate ourselves from everybody else? We be who we be. We focus on what, to my knowledge, no one else is doing. It's not just about being America's first vegan burger joint and burger joint chain. It's about a commitment to plant-based, sure, but it's taking that to the next level. It's a commitment to all organic produce, not when available, not seasonally, but always. It's commitment to non-GMO, absolutely. And it's commitment to living wages, because we believe that our team members, they should be paid, and they should be paid well. And so ultimately, what that has a tendency to conjure up is a world-class experience. The ingredients on our shelves, you'd be hard-pressed to find a Michelin-starred restaurant in the world that has better ingredients, and that is reflected in the food. So it's that awesome food, awesome experience, that focus that we're bringing to every day.
And what are some of the biggest challenges that you encounter when making those commitments?
Status quo is definitely one of them. Everything costs more, and that's just, whether it's the quality of our ingredients or it's the compensation that we pay to our team members, who we believe are worth every penny of it. It is challenging to do almost everything in the coronavirus. It was always hard, the restaurant business, but it's even harder now. But what that means is this is also an opportunity where only the really lean and the really mean Only the really dedicated, the really purpose-driven are going to be able to succeed, and in some cases, even exist. And of course, what we've been able to do in the last 2.5 years of the Carnivores is not just survive. We've been able to thrive, and I think that's a reflection of a lot of what we talked about today.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, what are some of the commitments that you guys have made for the future as you were growing? Because you're at 9 locations now, and of course, you want to be growing more in the future.
Yeah, we want to have 1,000 locations. You know, I met John Mackey a few years ago, the now retired CEO and co-founder of Whole Foods, and he asked me what my hairy, audacious goal for Next Level was. And I said 1,000 units, and I didn't know that that was his vision for Whole Foods as well. And so we want to see that level of growth, because that level of growth will come with tremendous impact, right? From fighting climate change to employing, at that point, will require tens of thousands of team members, and what kind of impact those concentric circles, the classic adage of throwing the stone into the pond. And so ultimately what we see as we grow, and our commitment to our team members first and foremost, is that we're going to grow as aggressively as we can do so wisely. Now, right now, the plan is that we could quadruple the amount of locations that we have from the beginning of this year through 2025, from 7 to 28. But I 100% hold the right to change that, to either speed it up or to slow it down based on what we really think is best for Next Level. Mm-hmm. And so, and of course was announced this week, beyond our $20 million raised, is that Yvon Chouinard and his family are basically giving Patagonia, or almost $4 billion brand, back to the planet to help make the future a brighter place. I mean, he has set a very, very high bar, and it's one that we want to compare ourselves to, of a company that's really done it right. And so when it comes to growth, they had to figure theirs out, go over 50% year-over-year growth, and we ended up mucking it up. For us, we're gonna have to figure out what that is, but ultimately our goal is to build a strong foundation, not for NLB in the next couple of years, but NLB for the next 2 or 3 decades.
Well, that sounds like a great place to end on. Matt, thank you so much for joining me today. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely, Joanna. Give me a pound. See you soon.